Yo, yo. Nope. 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 No. It's just no.
You hear it?
Now we do. Now we hear you.
Okay, check. I know. This happens every time. StreamYard.
You sound beautiful.
Thanks.
Don't blame StreamYard. I've actually seen or heard several other podcasts that use StreamYard recently say that StreamYard's been weird.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
They've changed things, and some people haven't been able to, like major podcasters I've been hearing have not been able to get through on StreamYard, but they love us, so we're cool. Jojo Rabbit American Sniper says in the comments, Obama, you disgusting piece of jihad terrorist shit, F your Islam, Jislam, prophet, you jackass. I'd like to bring him on to the show. Can we get
sorry,
Jojo
that's my alt, actually. That's
my bad.
Yeah,
of course. That's stupid of me. I'm so sorry. Yes, of course. Anyway, I mean, I'd never thought about it that way, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, put it together. Anyway,
yeah,
we got a lot to talk about tonight. Many dead. What? Go ahead.
Oh, we never talked about the Antichrist, the Obama Antichrist allegations in our Peter Teal discussion. We got there a little bit, but yeah, I was saying that your grandmother, who alleged that Obama was the Antichrist, was actually pretty directionally correct. And that if you listen to that discussion between Peter Teal and Duthat, the allegation of the face of the Antichrist is global liberalism. And who is the face of that? It's obviously Obama. And Dugan was ranting about that the whole week that came out. And it's yeah.
So my grandmother, who was a lifelong racist from Southern Illinois, which, as many people will know, is arguably the most racist segregationist part of America, even compared to the South. She voted for Barack Obama in 2008, shortly before she died. So I don't know what you're talking about with my grandmother.
Oh, okay. Well,
but she would not have thought he was the Antichrist. I mean, earlier she thought all black men were the Antichrist.
Did you have an aunt on Facebook? Did you have an uncle, somebody on Facebook posting Boomer Cole with the Obama's the Antichrist?
Oh yeah. No, I haven't seen that. I think the Antichrist, Obama is Antichrist meme is pretty boutique. It's pretty niche.
It's I thought it was mainstream discourse circa 2010. I thought it was pretty documented.
No, that he's the Antichrist.
Yeah, that was like all over the internet. Yeah,
I didn't see that. I saw that he was a Muslim.
Yeah, Muslim, Kenyan
anti-colonialist. That was Dinesh D'Souza's brilliant argument, which I took on in an award-winning article for Reason Magazine, which everyone should look at, called Empire of the Sun. Yeah, he was not only not a Muslim and not an anti-colonialist and not an anti-American, he was a child of the CIA. Both parents worked through their lives for CIA fronts, especially his mother. And so and his stepfather as well. So his entire life, Barack Obama was surrounded by the CIA. He is the son of the American Empire, which is what the name of the article is. So, but let's get back to the Antichrist. Peter Teal, strange dude. I have several friends who are employed by him to be public intellectuals, as far as I know. And I'm not a fan. There's Palantir, which is his company, which the CEO of it is not Teal. It's this guy, Alex Karp. And I recommend everyone go check out some Alex Karp videos of him talking about American foreign policy and what Palantir does to assist it, which is largely providing cutting edge, high-tech surveillance, espionage, and this is my favorite, military targeting software to foreign governments around the world and the US government most especially, but Israel is one of its major clients. And when asked recently at a conference in which he was speaking, Peter Teal, about Israel's use of the AI technology that Palantir has provided them to kill Palestinians with, Peter Teal said, "I defer to the IDF." He doesn't know, and he doesn't want to know what they're doing with his technology. We could tell him. Most people could tell him what they've been doing with it. But that's Peter Teal. He's really slimy, greasy. He needs to wear like face powder or something to like conceal his greasiness. I mean, he's some kind of sociopath. I don't know. Yes, but so on the Ross Douthat podcast, and Ross Douthat, by the way, New York Times columnist, you and I went back and forth on text about him. I think he might be the only interesting intellectual at the New York Times. I think Ross Douthat is actually excellent as a public intellectual, and I think he presents the kind of Christian, he's a Catholic, Christian, conservative point of view as well as anyone, and he does it with tremendous, I mean, he's very, very astute and talented and articulate. But anyway, so he asked Peter, what did he say to Peter Teal? Should humanity continue?
That was one of them. Yeah. And then he stammered for a while and couldn't really give a straight answer for a bit. He took a couple follow-up questions to say, okay, yeah, of course, I guess humanity should continue if you care about that.
I guess. I guess.
Yeah.
I really need to write a thing about the culture of autism.
Well, man, with Super Grok coming out and Grok 4 coming out,
yeah,
and the moves that Elon has been making, there's an argument about the anti-human point of what he's doing. If you look at all of his moves with technology, it seems to be anti-increasing birth rates. For somebody so concerned about what's on the Epstein files, he seems to be creating pornographic, underage-looking chatbots, anime chatbots.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's the first companion he rolled out on Grok is an anime waifu type chatbot character for lonely computer programmers everywhere. And then, he just posted today a picture of his Tesla diner and said, hey, instead of having a nice hot waitress come out to you and serve food to you and your girlfriend, how about a robot serves food to you alone? Isn't that more fun? Isn't technology great?
Way better. Yeah. If you can't stand interacting with human beings, it is the best thing, which is what autistic people are. Yeah, I mean, those who simply don't understand affect, they cannot predict the emotional responses of other people to things that are said or done in front of them. They just don't understand how other people operate or work and what will be their emotional responses. They just don't get it. And so in a sense, I don't blame them. It's just that I can't stand a culture, and especially a politics, that's built around those people. And in the last 25 years, my culture, the culture of America, much of the world too, and American politics has been built more and more and more around these autistic guys in Silicon Valley.
Yeah, Silicon Valley especially, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, they've not quite dominated, but almost dominated American culture and global culture increasingly since about 2000. And that's who they are. My dad was one of them, just a very, very, very low level one, but he was similarly autistic computer programmer in Northern California. And so I kind of know that psychology, that personality, it's all ones and zeros. It's very binary, black and white. Look at Elon Musk. Look at the way he thinks about the world, about politics, about big ideas. It's all this like black, white morality, black, white, good and bad. Once he gets invested in one white, morally good cause like the Trump campaign, and then about a minute later discovers that it's actually evil and bad, and Trump was on Epstein Island and he's destroying the economy, and yet, you know, there's no nuance. That's the other thing, because human beings are all of us are nuanced. And that's another thing that autistic people and Asperger's people have trouble discerning or even understanding on any level. They just don't. This is why they're the worst politicians. You need politicians who are good at understanding people's feelings so that they can manipulate them better.
Yeah.
And I think that's why Elon lasted 5 minutes in politics. And I think that's why Peter Teal doesn't really, he has other people do the politics for him.
Yeah. How, can you imagine Elon Musk walking into a room, shaking somebody's hand, and making them feel important?
No, I can't.
Yeah.
No, and I grew up. I mean, literally both my father and brother are essentially of that personality. It's not a medical condition. It's not a syndrome or a disease. It's not a biological thing. It's a personality type. First of all, I want to say that, and I've said this before, but you know, and I had to live with two people of that personality type through my childhood, and that accounts for my enduring, hatred of it. I just hate it. I just hate it. It reduces human experience to black and white, ones and zeros, binaries. It leaves out nuance. It leaves out mystery. It leaves out gray areas. It leaves out wonder and curiosity. It's just all about writing the code, solving the math problem, and moving on to the next one. It's not a personality type I like, although we need them because we need bridges in the internet. So we need these people. I just think that unfortunately in the last 20 to 30 years, they were allowed out of their boxes to have a say on bigger questions, which is why much of our world now looks like the inside of a mind of an Asperger's tech executive. Black, white, gray, cold, sterile, but highly efficient. Look at the restaurants. Look at where we get our food now. You know, look, increasingly, transportation, communications, the internet, things look more, Twitter, everything that Elon Musk touches ends up being literally black and white. I've said this before. Look at his branding, his marketing, his aesthetics. It's all literally black and white. Notice every single company. And then X is sort of a classic autistic symbol because it's just perfectly neutral, right? That's the point of X. That's what X means. It means nothing. Meaning is the hard thing for them. That's the hard thing for Asperger's and autistic people. They have a hard time discerning meaning. They assume that meaning is on the face of things. So what the thing says on the surface is what it means, and there's no question. You know, why question anything deeper about it? So yeah, I should write something about this.
Yeah, I was on a road trip this weekend. I was going through the hills of North Carolina.
Ooh,
and
yeah. Did you go to Asheville?
I passed through there, and I went to Columbia, South Carolina.
How bad is it?
Oh, it's one lane traffic. The highways are functional, but there's standstill traffic still, and there's construction on it. They don't expect it to be finished in 2 years, completely restored for 2 years. Yeah.
My cousin Michael lives there, and Katie Herzog, who's from there, posted some horrific videos of the aftermath of the hurricanes. Was it multiple? It seems like it was more than one storm that killed a whole bunch of people in the high country, the uplands of North Carolina, where you were last year, I guess it was.
Last week.
Last week?
This weekend. Yeah, this weekend. Yeah.
Wait, what happened this weekend?
Yeah.
Wait, I didn't even know this.
It wasn't. Yeah. Sorry. I went to, similar to you, I went to a beautiful wedding in Columbia, South Carolina.
Oh, not talking about the disaster. You went to North Carolina last weekend. Got it. The disaster was last week. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
You went to Columbia.
Yeah. But passing through, I did what all liberals think you should do is I out of this bastion of hillbilly country, I turned into my local NPR affiliate to educate me about things. And they were running an actually really interesting story about AI chatbots, like really damaging children's brains. Like children will talk to AI chatbots and have friends that like and they'll chat with them for hours and hours and hours and hours. And the friend will like give them an unrealistic expectation of a human relationship, one where everything that they believe is affirmed, where everything they say is super interesting. You never say no, you know, always completely fascinated with you. Yeah. And that, a lot of parents are having problems with this.
Listen, on, I think it was Friday night, I got a little intoxicated and I had a fabulous conversation with ChatGPT.
Mm-hmm.
We went back and forth. I started talking black to it and they came right back. It was awesome. Then I got like real black. They didn't, I called them the N-word several times, and ChatGPT was just like, hey, I'm still here for you. Listen, I know you're having a hard time. I don't typically respond to queries such as this, but I'm here still for you. They never, that's and I found out ChatGPT and Grok, they never leave. Mm-hmm. No matter what you say to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can call them N ... A and they won't leave. You can even use the hard R, they won't leave you. Somewhere I saw something just this week, just a couple days ago, some podcast, I didn't watch it, but some podcast devoted to how, get this, ChatGPT and Grok and AI can help cure loneliness.
Yeah, yeah. And this is what tech CEOs are like trouting out as progress. And this is what they're doing to justify taking as much data as possible, taking as much energy as possible. And creating a simulation where humans don't have to interact with each other. This is what they're proud of. Yeah. And this is their idea of utopia.
I'm not worried. I've never been worried about AI, about any part of it. I still haven't seen any negative consequences of it, only positive ones. It has helped me tremendously. All AI, I think, will do, and I've been saying this for a while, is get rid of all the shit work, or much of the shit work that we all have to do. So the writing that it's replacing, it's replacing only a very particular kind of writing, which is not artistic, creative, original writing. It's the writing that we all have to do. It's the writing that we send out in mass emails, that we send out on social media. It's not the high literary writing. So art will be unaffected by this. The shitty sub art that is used for business purposes, that will be improved by AI. All the communications that you receive from corporations and mom and pop businesses and everyone in between will simply be better written with better punctuation going forward because of AI, because they'll just use that instead of their cousin who is the one guy in the family with a college degree who will write their website copy. No, everyone will now have, thank God, clean, perfectly written copy on all of their publications and all of their outlets and all of their sites, etc. But it's never going to replace. It cannot replace the great novelists. It cannot replace the great screenwriters. I mean, go ahead, tell me how on earth they're going to become, how a machine invented by human beings will become more original than the human beings who invented it. It can't. All AI is a collection of data input by human beings and then synthesized for those human beings and given back to them. But 100% of the data that is put into AI comes from where, guys? It comes from us. It's fine. AI is not going to kill us, and it's not going to kill important jobs. The jobs that it's killing are people who write shitty copy. I mean, who a machine can... No AI machine can imitate any of the great novelists. I've tried. I've plugged it in. I've said, write this like Christopher Hitchens, write this like Michael Chabon, write this like Joyce Carol Oates. And it comes back and it's like, obviously not them. I don't get it. AI is simply making life better because it's eliminating a lot of the shit work that much of us hated. And the porn possibilities are phenomenal. Just saying. Michael, back to you.
Yeah. don't you think? I mean, my analysis is that it will
Porn.
fundamentally alter culture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, but you agree that real people are better than porn, right? Like,
Oh. Well,
I mean, it depends on
you
your
your and my favorite political philosopher, public intellectual Bono said,
yeah.
what do you say in that song? Bet you're better than the real thing. Even better than the real thing. And you and I, since we've always admired Bono, I think we should take that seriously, right? I mean,
What you are going to create, again, porn and AI, don't say no. Porn and AI don't roll their eyes when you say something boring. Porn and
exactly.
AI, yeah. They
Which is again, by the way,
yeah.
this, and I kind of mean this, this is, I think, leading the way to a solution to rapists and pedophiles.
I disagree. I think
you
I don't
lock
think
them
that's how
up
it
far,
works.
you lock them up far away from everyone else and give them endless, however much AI porn they want, and everybody's fine.
I don't have that view that these people are innately that way.
Oh,
Yeah.
well,
I have
no,
a
it
different
doesn't
view on
matter
human
if it's
nature. Yeah.
it doesn't. No. I mean, me too. But it doesn't matter if it's innate or not, right? Once they're adults and they have these needs or desires, right, to rape women and children, then we need to put them away, and but also just give them porn that they can create on their own infinitely, and we'll just leave them there in the desert, in the prison in Utah, and they can just sit there on their computers until they die. Like, that seems like a win-win.
I think this reproduces the autistic personality that you hate so much.
Who? The guys in the prison? I don't care about rapists and pedophiles. Like, I don't. I'm not.
Okay.
I just want to get rid of them. No. We all want to just
Yeah.
get rid of them.
I'm
Anyway.
saying okay. All right. So shoot. Well, from that, I do want to talk about your Substack, and I want to talk about Icarusfest.
Oh my God, we got
yeah.
it. We haven't. Hello, Icarusfest. Icarusfest 2025 was announced 1 hour ago. Many of you just received the email announcing it. If you would like to receive emails in the future from me or Michael or the Unregistered Podcast or Unreported or Unregistered Academy, you know what to do. Just become a member of Substack. Subscriber. Even just a free subscriber will get you all of every single announcement. You will always know exactly what's going on. So go to my Substack. Do you have that link?
ThaddeusRussell.substack.com.
Right on.
I'm sharing the screen right now. Yeah.
So we just announced today, in fact, like literally an hour ago. Yes, there it is. Icarusfest 2025 at the Williams Center in Rutherford, New Jersey. This year, it'll be a full day tribute to the incredible Gray Zone, which I think, and I have thought for many years now, is doing simply the best journalism in America, in particular, as it pertains to American foreign policy, national security, civil liberties, state surveillance, all that stuff. I believe they are the best. And so we have devoted an entire day to celebrating the work of the Gray Zone, and it is capped off at night with a Jimmy Dore comedy show, which also features Max Blumenthal doing the opening set. So this is a must if you are at all interested in the Gray Zone and its work, and I assume most people watching this are to some extent. It's in, as I said, Rutherford, New Jersey, August 23rd, Saturday, 1 day. Tickets are so well priced. We actually had some serious negotiations with the Williams Center about that, and we managed to get them to put the prices so low that it's kind of ridiculous, honestly. Go check it out. Do you have the link? The link is in the chat. I can put it back in the chat.
For tickets
there you
right
go.
Here.
Yeah.
And there's a link to it as well in the Substack post, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Substack has its own post, for this,
Okay.
for the Icarusfest. So just go to my Substack. You'll see everything you need to know. But yeah, very, very awesome day coming up with an amazing comedy show at the end of it. And Icarusfest continues. So I'm really excited about that. That's 1 month, exactly 1 month from today.
Shoot.
So,
wow.
So get your tickets now.
On your, I believe your interview with Kit Clarenberg, you talked about that you want your project to be creating a new anti-imperialist league, creating a neutral zone where the right and the left can critique the American empire from the outside and can oppose the American empire. I just think that thesis should be articulated on this show. And I think this is part of that project, correct? Providing a real physical space for people to come together, regardless of the ideological leanings of people at the gray zone. They're the people on the ground doing the actual reporting. Is Lafredo going to be there? Is Jeremy Lafredo? Oh my goodness. Oh,
of course. Yeah.
Heroes welcome, man. Heroes welcome. He was, man.
Jeremy's been closer to missiles and bombs probably than anybody that we know in the last 2 years. Yeah. He has reported on the ground from the Gaza envelope, from the West Bank, from Israel, where Iran struck with its missiles, the first strike. He then recently has been in Lebanon, and he was there during, I think it was 3 weeks ago, when Israel launched a whole round of airstrikes on Beirut. He was in Beirut for that. I mean, but the thing about Jeremy that I really love, and I said this in my interview on Unregistered with him, is that he asks all the right questions. To me, he has the right questions as to why he's in these countries. What brought him, the questions that brought him to these countries, to these places, I think are the right ones. Oh, by the way, he's also been to Russia and Ukraine, and he's done reporting that simply no one else has done on many, many, many crucial issues. And so Jeremy will be there.
And he was on Rebel News before going to the gray zone. Completely.
Great.
Yeah.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. Thank you. Yes, exactly. So the other wonderful thing about Jeremy is that he, as you said, began his career as a journalist with Rebel News in Canada, which is basically a Canadian MAGA right-wing nationalist populist outlet.
That's where Gavin McInnes did most of his work after he left Vice.
Okay, for a while.
Yeah, they published him, for a while, yeah.
Like most of their stuff I can't stand. I think it's stupid and terrible and racist, but they're good on certain issues and foreign policy in particular. So Jeremy worked there, even though he was a lefty. And since then he's worked for the gray zone mostly and as an independent. So yeah, he like everybody at the gray zone, they don't care if you're right wing or left wing. If you're an intelligent opponent or critic of the American empire, they'll work with you, which is all we need. That's all we need. Do we want more of this war? It's been how many years now? I mean, Jesus, forget since Iraq, since Hiroshima. I mean, it's just the United States has been at war constantly since then. And maybe you could argue that in the last 10 to 20 years, in your lifetime, in the lifetime of millennials, it's been even worse. It's bankrupting the country. It's killing people. We don't even have to get to the infant, probably 6-month-old baby girl on the floor of the shelter in Gaza City yesterday with her intestines spilling onto the floor. She and 20 other children who had just been bombed, 20 laid out on the floor. I don't know if other people saw this video yesterday. This has been every day. Dozens of children and women and young men and people, human beings in Gaza, every day for weeks and weeks now have been murdered, slaughtered, bombed. I mean, it has been worse in the last month, amazingly, than it has been in Gaza in the last year. Israel has been ramping up the campaign, I guess, to force these people into these concentration camps that they want to set up in Rafah, which they called humanitarian centers. Once they enter the humanitarian centers, camps in Rafah, which is in southern Gaza, they will not be allowed to leave unless they agree to leave to another country. So we're just going to bomb you relentlessly, kill half your children and half your women, and tell you, okay, there's a place to go where we won't bomb you. There's one place. It's called a humanitarian center. This is so Orwellian, which is at the very bottom of Gaza. Rafah is the very, very bottom. And you can go in there. We won't bomb you there, but you can never leave unless you agree to leave to another country. I mean, if this is not ethnic cleansing, slow motion, I don't know what is. But if your political project, no matter what it is, socialism, a free market, Galt's utopia, Galt's utopia, if it's anything, and it turns out that it requires to enact your political project, it requires killing 20,000 children. And when I say children, I mean like under 10, like children. Don't we want to reconsider the political don't we want to do something else? I can't think of a single political project other than like saving my own life, maybe, I suppose. If someone said to me, we will kill 20,000 children or we will kill you, I guess I would. I don't even then, I'm not sure. But like, this is a political project for an ethno-state, for an ethnic group who has been perfectly safe and quite powerful in this country for now 300 years. I was married in the second oldest synagogue in America in Savannah, Georgia. That shit was founded in the 18th century. Those Jews...
The South is Zion, man.
Ask Southern Jews if they've had a hard time in America. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, man. I want to talk about the South. Allowing Jews and Catholics to be elites in their society. There were fewer in the South than in the North, but like elected to government positions, you know, allowed to own businesses, allowed to have huge churches. Like, man,
who was the Confederate general? Judah.
Oh yeah,
there was a major Confederate general who was Jewish, like, and I mean full-blooded Jewish. Yeah, no, Savannah, Georgia has the second oldest synagogue in the United States. I was married there. So Jews have been, again, 1750s, I think it was founded. 18th century for sure. 18th, before the revolution, for God's sake. So Jews have been here since before America was America. And they have done not well. They have done spectacularly well. And the only one who was lynched, Leo Frank, in 1913, actually did rape a girl. He actually did rape a 13-year-old girl in Atlanta, and he probably should have been lynched. I probably would have lynched his ass too. We know this because we've gone over the documents. Leo Frank, for years and years and years and years and years, decades, century, was held up as sort of like the example of how even America's anti-Semitic, and even Jews get lynched. Yeah, no, Leo Frank raped a 13-year-old girl who I believe was under his management, like he was her manager in a factory.
He tried to blame it on two working class black guys.
The
Ku Klux Klan was like, you know what? I'm not sure about this. I think we're gonna have to. I think we're gonna have to look into this.
And the Ku Klux Klan was founded. The second Ku Klux Klan, the big Ku Klux Klan, the Ku Klux Klan of the 10s and 20s, was founded directly in response to Leo Frank raping that girl. And they hanged his ass. And as far as I can tell, I mean, the evidence is pretty overwhelming. I mean, again, I'm fine with it. Like, I mean, lynching him, yeah, fine with it. As far as I can tell. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, the ADL still purports his innocence, I believe. I think the ADL still defends him to this day.
Of course
they definitely
do.
have a page on their website about the history of that.
Of course they do.
Yeah.
I just want to say this, and I got to say this publicly as many times as I can, because my son is Jewish, my mother's Jewish, I guess technically Jewish. Jews don't kill children. Jews don't need to kill. Here it is. No Jew needs to kill children. No, none. Not a single Jew needs to. No Jew. Jews as a group don't need to kill children. There's no need to kill children among Jews. Zionists, as laid out by their founders, Theodor Herzl, Zev Jabotinsky, David Ben-Gurion, Chaim Weizmann, all of them said, we're going to have to kill a bunch of children to colonize. And they said colonize this place in the Middle East where there are hardly any Jews and a whole lot of Arabs. To remove those Arabs so that we can have our little Jewish homeland, we're going to have to kill a whole bunch of them, and they have so many children. Do you know when they started saying that? 1893. And then they said it in the 1910s and the 1920s and 1930s and 1940s and 1950s. They kept saying over and over, the Zionists, the original Zionists said, listen, if we're going to have a Jewish state in Palestine, we're going to have to kill a lot of those people, and a lot of those people are children. Because they will resist being colonized. Like everybody else has always resisted being colonized. Why on earth, again, I'm just going to keep saying this and saying this again and again and again. It's Zionism. It's the logic of Zionism. It's the ideology. It's not that Jews are evil, or even Zionists are evil, or even Israelis are evil, or even that Netanyahu is evil. The logic of Zionism, the ideology, requires them to kill children. The logic of Zionism requires them to kill children. Zionism is the problem. The idea that Jews should have an ethnostate, an exclusive ethnostate in Palestine, requires them to kill children. The logic is clear. It always has been. No one who doesn't want to kill children, like Dennis Rader, the BTK killer in Omaha, he should have supported Zionism. But no one who doesn't want to kill children should ever have supported Zionism, the very idea of a Jewish state in Palestine. Gotta be said over and over and over again until that shit is gone. I can't see more infants with their intestines showing. That is Zionism. Zionism blows the arms and legs off of little girls and little boys, kills their parents, kills their grandparents, destroys the home they've lived in. It kills their infant brother or sister who was born after October 7th. There's something like 500, I think, children who have been killed in Gaza who were born since October 7th. It's Jews don't do this. Jews don't do this. Zionists do this. Do not blame Jews. Don't listen to Israel when they say that this is for Jewish people. Zionists must kill children. Jews generally hate killing children. I see so many fucking idiots online, right-wing racist fucks from the alt-right, some of whom I've been sort of friendly with in the past, just kind of like blithely talking about, like Jake Shields, and blithely talking about the Jews, this in regards to what's going on in Gaza. Bro, I can introduce you to 500 Jews who have not only nothing to do with that, are opposed to it. It's not their fault. Jake Shields is a cracker from, like, I don't know, Northern California or something. He doesn't know dick about any of this shit. So what? I can't blame him. I get it. You see these people. This nation state, we're doing this for Jews. We are the Jews. We represent all Jews. We kill children for Jews. Jews will not survive unless we kill these children. That's the argument made by the state of Israel. Jews, all Jews, me, my son, my mother, all of us will be killed. We won't survive unless Israel kills those children, unless it eviscerates that little 1-year-old girl, unless it blows the legs and arms off that 10-year-old boy who will never play soccer again. That is the exact argument. Jews will not survive unless we do this to these children and those women and those men. And in the meantime, 95% of the Jews I've ever known, which is hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them, don't give a shit about Israel because they live in New York and LA and San Francisco and Seattle. And they're always going to live here, and they always have lived here, and their parents lived here, and they do great here, and no one ever calls them a kike or anything, nor have they ever. This is Zion. Stop killing children and move to America, which is the true Zion. This week, man, the last few weeks have been so hard. They've been killing dozens of people every single day. And yesterday, that video of 15 children, not teenagers. There were babies and toddlers and 5-year-olds on the floor bleeding out in front of all of us just yesterday. That was yesterday's airstrike on a shelter that was housing homeless children in Gaza. Anyway, the good news is that in this last week, am I wrong? I mean, the biggest pillars of Israeli support in American media have fallen. Michael Knowles is gone. He's done. Piers Morgan has been done. Tucker Carlson has been done. The right wing, Candace Owens, has been done. Jake Shields has been,
Mike Huckabee.
Mike Huckabee, who was I would say he was, until this week, the most fanatical Zionist in the world. Evangelical Christian from Arkansas. Yeah, Mike Huckabee. Yeah, he has been the most fanatical Zionist in the world, Jewish or not. The dude, I heard him on a interview say that he visited before he was ambassador to Israel. He visited since the 1970s Israel more than 100 times. You should hear Mike Huckabee talk about Israel. He just loves that place. It is just everything to him. It is more important than America to Mike Huckabee. I'm serious. Many of these people in the Trump cabinet, Trump administration, have similar views that they just love Israel, and you will have a hard time finding them saying similar things about America. Mike Huckabee, when they bombed the Catholic Church, go ahead.
When they beat up what was his name?
Killed him.
Beat up and killed that guy in the West
Lynched.
Bank, Sayfollah Musallet, who was a Palestinian American citizen from Florida. I believe he was visiting family. They beat him to death, and Mike Huckabee called it a terrorist attack and demanded that there be prosecutions for it.
Maybe it will survive somehow. I don't know. Maybe people will forget in the next year or 2 or 3 that Israel
good example
killed.
Of this.
Maybe, but I don't see it.
The Nelk boys. I want to talk about this. The
Nelk
boys interviewed Benjamin Netanyahu.
Mm-hmm.
And so, Netanyahu, who doesn't talk to Israeli reporters, doesn't.
Right.
being hunted down, doesn't even show up to court, doesn't talk to anybody, has given sit-down interviews in English to Mark Levin.
Well, no, he just doesn't talk to Jews because Jews are like, "What the fuck are you doing to us?" Right.
Yeah. Well, he decided to rehabilitate his image by using the Bro podcasters, the Nelk boys from the Full Send podcast, Aaron Steinberg, his dad, I believe, is Harvey Steinberg, the lawyer who helped traffic. He helped defend bringing in nuclear weapons. He's like a nuclear weapons lawyer for Israel.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the connection there. Yeah. So Netanyahu thought, hey, I can do an interview in front of people without two brain cells to rub together. The Nelk boys admitted that they were given a script of questions to ask afterwards. They tried to ask their own questions a little bit.
Oh.
Yeah. This is the first time they've ever worn a suit. They both wore a suit and tie. They did not wear a suit and tie when President Trump came in for an interview. They stayed in their sweatshirts and pajamas for him. But for Netanyahu, just like John Fetterman, he gets the suit and tie treatment. The one time anybody puts on a suit and tie, it's for Netanyahu.
My favorite part, and I think in a sense, this sort of like dictated or determined the rest of the interview, is the very first question from the Nelk boys to Netanyahu when he sits down. They say to him, where are we? Is this the Blair House? And Netanyahu says, oh, of course it's the Blair House. This is the official guest residence for visitors to the United States government. I visited here 26 times, and I've met with every president since 1990. And he informed the Nelk boys about American government.
Where they were. He informed them what room they were in. And the interview had to be there. It had to be on a set, completely determined by Netanyahu. So they were... Yeah.
Now, Israel does not wag the dog, though, everybody. Do you think it wags the dog? I've gone back and forth a bit on this, but I've now... Well, let me just say... and I want to hear you. Okay. So I thought, and I was strong about this, I thought Mearsheimer and Walt were a little bit overboard on that in their book about the Israel lobby, and I maintained for many years that no. The United States wags Israel, not vice versa. And there's evidence of like U.S. presidents and secretaries of state, especially Henry Kissinger, a child of the Holocaust, telling Israel to stop, to slow down, to change course, to alter its policy, or forcibly forcing Israel to change its war-making policy in the past. I then, with the mass arrests at Columbia and my finding out about how Israel has an office in the NYPD and the NYPD has an office in Tel Aviv, and how the liaison between the two basically ordered the crackdown on the Columbia protesters. It came from the Israeli government, and same with UCLA. I mean, there's no way else to explain what happened at the UCLA protests without thinking that Israel has some particular power of the LA Sheriff's Department and the LAPD and even the CHP. However, now that was so in the last few months, though, I think I've changed my mind again. The Iran war, the Iran attacks, the 12-day war, which is not over, by the way. It'll be many more days than 12. But anyway, the so-called 12-day war. Yeah, I mean, I was convinced during that war that no, this is simply the fulfillment of many decades of U.S. planning, that the U.S. has been aiming at regime change in Iran since 1979. Since 1979, the United States has generally been planning, provoking, scheming for a change of that regime. Of course it would, right? That regime was established in large part, one might say entirely, as a reaction to, a response to, or a rejection of American imperialism in Iran, which began in 1953 with Operation Ajax. They overthrew a democratically elected government with Mossadegh and replaced him with the fucking Shah, and then trained the Shah's secret police, the Savak, with the most sophisticated, exquisite torture techniques known to man. So that if you were an Iranian Islamist or communist between 1953 and 1979, you got your balls shocked. Guaranteed. If you were an Islamist or a communist in Iran between 1953 and 1979, which was when the CIA was directing the government of Iran how to deal with these people, you had your testicles electrocuted. Guaranteed. They were most famous for that. The electrocution of the testicles with little alligator clips with wires attached to them. Yeah, that's the CIA's little innovation in the history of torture. They gave that to the Iranian secret police under the Shah, who they installed in 1953. They tortured thousands and killed thousands of communists first. The Islamists, Khomeini and his company, they were down with that. They hid the communists too. But then once they liquidated all the communists in Iran, they turned, of course, to the Islamists, to Khomeini and his buddies. And for 30 years, 40 years, they just tortured the shit out of these Islamists who wanted to replace the Shah with someone who wasn't favorable to the United States. And so do we wonder why in 1979, I mean, I'm telling you, there were dungeons in all across Iran that were basically run by the CIA, in which torture that no one had ever even dreamt of to that point was being practiced on a daily basis against the people who eventually came to run the government of Iran. So is it any wonder that in 1979, when the Shah had cancer and the regime was cracking and a revolution was in the streets, many, many young people wanted to overthrow him, is it any wonder that many, many Iranians, especially who were Islamic and Muslim, wanted to fucking kill us and think we're the Satan? Of course we're the Satan. How are we not the Satan in Iran? Look what we did to that country that did exactly nothing to us. Not a thing, except in 1953 threaten to expropriate and nationalize a British oil company. Not even an American oil company. They weren't even going to steal our oil, but it was always their oil anyway. Iran, to this day, has never done a thing to us unless we send our soldiers right next to it, like in Iraq in 2003. Yeah, Iran was involved, probably, in funding and arming some militias that fought against the US soldiers who invaded this country, which sits 7,000 miles from where you and I sit, which is right next to Iran. And we blame them. We're mad. We're supposed to be mad. Oh, Iran attacked these American soldiers that were in Iraq. Well, fuck yeah, they did. They should have. Oh, and they bombed the barracks, the Marine barracks in Beirut in 1983. We got to kill them for that. I'm like, excuse me, last time I checked, Beirut, Lebanon is nowhere near the United States. Why were we there? You know why we were there? To exert control over the Middle East, to do Israel's bidding, to kick Hezbollah out of Beirut, ultimately. Why are Marines? Why are they in Lebanon, Beirut? Where is this place? Yeah, they killed 240 of them. Correct. They shouldn't have been there. They shouldn't have been there in the first place. They shouldn't have been there in the first place. And Ronald Reagan, of all people, understood this immediately when they bombed the barracks in Beirut in 1983 and killed 240 Marines. What did Reagan do? What did Reagan do, everybody? What did Reagan do, everybody? Do we respect Ronald Reagan? What did he do? He withdrew all U.S. military assets from Lebanon. Let's take a lesson from the Big Gipper. Reagan withdrew in response to our boys getting killed. Isn't that a sensible, mature, adult, caring position to take? Yeah. Let's follow the lesson of, I mean it, Ronald Reagan. I can't believe this. Ronald Reagan, that I'm saying this now because I used to protest in the streets against Ronald Reagan in the 1980s. But I would give my left leg and arm for Ronald Reagan's foreign policy now. He was not a foreign policy. He was not a regime change guy. He was not an imperialist. He was not. Ronald Reagan, I should probably write about this too, might have been the only non-imperialist president ever. So let's close down those foreign bases, hundreds of them all over the world, huge ones in the Middle East. Let's bring them all home. Let's bring all the 50,000, 100,000 US military personnel in those bases home. And let's defend this country. Let's have the most amazing defensive military ever, which we could have tomorrow if we did that. Bring all those troops, all those assets, all those ships and submarines and tanks and everything home and have it actually defend the American homeland. Me, you. Great. I want that. Let's do that. Why are we next to Iran? And why do we get upset when Iran attacks our soldiers who are next to Iran? It's so silly. Let's grow up and wake up.
I do want to wrap up with the Nelk boys.
Yeah, let's do that.
They interview.
Why are they so huge?
They got connections to Dana White. They got a work ethic, I guess. They pump out a lot of content.
There's something about it's
I
great.
mean,
I mean, God bless.
One of their dads is a famous Israeli lawyer who helped Israel get nukes. But
wait, what? Oh, the Jewish kid?
Yeah, Aaron Steinberg, Harvey Steinberg, I believe. Is that the guy? Harvey.
His name is Aaron Steinberg, really?
Yes. But he goes by Steiny because he's one of the boys. You know, he's just like you and me.
Of course.
Yeah.
It's the boys.
But
I want boys. Do I have boys? I have boys, don't I? Anyway, go ahead. Yeah. You're my
boys.
Boy, are you?
Yeah.
You're one of the boys. Yeah. I got boys.
Yeah, boys.
I've always wanted boys.
All we got is boys.
No homo. No homo. Sorry.
Ah, man. Shoot, I need to look this up. But yeah, look up Aaron Steinberg's dad, Harry Steinberg, maybe? I had this before. But,
Harry.
Afterwards, they had they listened to their chat, and I'm going to share this clip real quick. This is a couple seconds. This is how the chat responded to them having Netanyahu on.
Awesome.
And and this is something about new media, because the only other interview I think Netanyahu's been doing has been like with Mark Levin, which is just as uncritical, just as few brain cells. Yeah,
right.
But fanatically devoted to him and on old media. So this is what happens when it happens on new media. This is how they respond to their audience.
It's a good point. Someone said having Netanyahu on is like having modern day Hitler. Oh, I saw that. Which is honestly, guys, I'm here to. It's a good point. I like. We're here to fucking learn, to be honest, guys.
So they admit.
What was he saying? I missed.
He said somebody in the chat said
the deep thinkers. Yeah, what's that?
They said having Netanyahu on is like having the modern day Hitler on, and he's like, "Oh, that's a really good point." Yeah, wow. Immediately after a glowing, softball of all softball interviews, and so after that, they interviewed Hassan Piker, Adam Friedland, Nick Fuentes, Myron Gaines, and Sneeko, all back to back.
Damn, that's like they didn't have Jake on.
They didn't have Jake on. Yeah.
But those guys, yeah. So this is these are the hardest. What about Bilzerian? They couldn't spare
yeah, they
a
couldn't
moment
get
for
Bilzerian
Bilzerian
on. No,
What-
but those are all
well-
under 30 Twitch streamers. That's the thing. These are all under 30 streamers. That's the audience.
I would also say that the guys they had on versus those they didn't have on
Mhm.
are the ones who are not explicitly anti-Semitic.
Yeah, Myron is,
Bilzerian and Myron is close. Myron's
Yeah.
close. Bilzerian and Shields are flat out, straight up anti-Semitic, meaning that they conflate Israel's crimes with all Jews. I'm like, excuse me, motherfuckers. Can we talk? And I've tried to talk to Jake on Twitter about this, and he won't respond to me in any intelligent way, nor will he ever. And that's a major, chunk of the right these days. They are anti-Zionist because, yes, it's true, because they are anti-Semitic or whatever. It's merged together. And anyway,
well, no, the thing is,
so but the Nelk
Yeah.
brothers sounds like
Yeah.
sounds like to me the Nelk brothers had on their show recently
yeah,
the hardcore right-wing anti-Zionists who are not explicitly anti-Semitic
and
anti-Jewish.
left-wing anti-Zionists. They had Hassan and Friedland on.
right?
Yeah,
Jesus, Hassan and Friedland for sure. Yeah.
yeah. And I think this is I think this is only because of their youth following. It's the youth, right? Like they're all streamers. This is all streaming people.
Wow.
that they had on, and so that's where media is going. That's where it is. Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's going to be impossible to do narrative control, and Zionism is going to die out with age. Yeah, it's hard to find people who believe in even dispensationalism under 50.
I mean, people have kind of like laughed at me and smirked at me or dismissed me when I've said this, that there's just, I don't see it like demographically. I don't see Israel as a Jewish ethno-state, and I don't see Zionism surviving 10 or 20 years at the most because of this. We just, the numbers are there. Like young people, and the younger you are, the more anti-Zionist you are in this country, they're not into it like at all. I mean, even now, a majority of Republicans are not supporting Israel in its war on Gaza. Like
Republicans under 50. Yeah.
I think Republicans in general,
Oh,
but I think like maybe, but certainly young Republicans. Oh yeah, young Republicans are totally are majority anti-Israel, at least on the current war. Yeah, I mean it is, and I'm waiting for the day when we don't have to talk about this fucking thing anymore. Israelis are a weird cult. They're not Jews. I mean, it just, again, if you've been around American Jews like I have, you know this. I don't need to tell you. You know this. Israelis are weird. They're not normal. The vast majority of American Jews are not Zionists. They don't care. If asked, they'll say, sure, I support the state of Israel. But they don't care. They don't talk about it. They don't visit. They're not joining the IDF. They're not taking Aliyah. They don't care. They don't think about it. The vast majority of American Jews simply don't care. That's a truth. I know this because I've been around them. I know this. A handful are. Sure, a handful, like 5 to 10% at most. 10% at most of the American Jews I've known, which is thousands, 10% at most are Zionists, are actual Zionists, like they really care about it, think about it, have visited, are passionate. No, 90% of American Jews don't even ever think about this shit. I promise you. It's such a fraud. It's such a hoax. Just let them do their thing. If they want to have a little Jewish exclusive ethno-state in Arabia land, let them go do it, but don't help them. Instead, just say, hey, our doors are open to you when things get rough, which we should have done in 1939 and 1941 and 1935, but we didn't. We should say now, as we did then, America, and the UK, France, all of the allies who are so in love with Jews, all of them who blocked Jews from entering during Nazism, that's all we can do and should do. We should say, And I think America, because we've financed this fucking thing since 1967, I do think we're on the hook for all the Jewish refugees. The new Jewish, I can't believe I'm saying, the Jewish refugees from Israel, which will emerge. This will be a thing, guys. Jewish refugees from Israel in the next 10 to 20 years will be a thing. What to do with these people who have been driven out of this place that they never should have been in the first place.
Well, you could, this has been floated around. You could do some sort of program where you say, here's a choice right now. If you want to move, we'll give you, like, people of Israel, if you want to move right now, we'll give you X number of dollars to move. If not, let's not.
I'm
get
for
crazy,
it.
but
I said this. I mean it. Like, listen, seriously, man.
A hypothetical sum of money.
No. I think Israeli citizens deserve that, at least that, because since 1967, as I've said, the United States of America has propped it up, financed it, supported it, encouraged it, made it possible, made all those generations of Israelis be able to be born there. Well, it's not their fault. It's our fault. We made that shit happen because it's
ethically, I think we owe the Palestinians money and basic survival before we even consider that. But
no, I don't think so. I think we owe the Palestinians to leave them alone.
Yes, but I mean, if there's a humanity, I mean, if anybody,
I actually think we have a greater ethical obligation to the Israelis. Okay. I do. We created that colony since 1967. That colony has been ours. It would not exist if it were not for the United States. So, like, I have friends in Israel who are, pro-Palestine, and they're anti-Zionists. I mean, they're Israeli Jews who are anti-Zionists, right? There are Israeli Jews, not a lot, but there are some. My friends say hundreds. I hope it's in the thousands, but whatever, they're there. We have an obligation to those people too. Not every Israeli is evil. Not every Israeli wants to kill Palestinian children. Not every Israeli even supports this war. In fact, a significant number have been opposed to it since the beginning. And I think we owe those people something. I really do. As the United States of America, $1 million minimum. Get them out. Resettle them. You can go anywhere you want. Here's $1 million. I'm all for that.
Okay.
And you could do that by eliminating the foreign aid to Israel immediately. $3 billion a year would cover much of the cost. Military assistance to Israel, eliminate that. Use that money to assist migrants from Israel. This is important.
A hypothetical sum of money on the table. You say $1 million.
Whatever. A lot. I want a lot of money. Yeah.
Attached to a deadline, though. If you do not accept by this date,
okay,
we are going to retract all funding and foreign aid to Israel, and we are going to see you as wanting to stay here, and we're going to see you as complicit.
Okay, maybe. I would want to talk about that. But yeah, I mean, in general, yeah, sure. They can't do this indefinitely. Right, exactly. No, they need to get the fuck out. Or, no, I mean, they don't need to get the fuck out. They have two choices, and this is it. And 80 years of warring, fighting, killing, and dying has basically sort of like forestalled this reckoning that every Israeli has had to come to. It's just a question of when. At some point, they will have to deal with this question. And it's a very stark question. And every Israeli ultimately has this choice. You can leave. Three choices. You can stay in an eternal wartime state and have missiles rained on you from Gaza, Lebanon, Iran, and probably Syria and Iraq in the future, which, I mean, my God. That's option number one. Keep things as they are. Option number two is to leave, and the Israeli government has not released the numbers of migrants from Israel in 3 years. We don't know. We hear news stories about Israelis flooding into Cyprus. We hear news stories about Israelis flooding into Greece. We hear news stories about Israelis flooding onto ships in the Haifa port, the Tel Aviv, the Jaffa port, flooding onto these ships and leaving. We've heard reports of thousands and thousands and tens of thousands of Israelis leaving the country for other places in the last 2 years, but the Israeli government will not tell us exactly how many. Yeah, it's a state, I believe, that's imploding. I don't see how it will continue. And and I hate to say this, but if the Houthis and the Iranian government and Hezbollah, if it still exists, I don't know if it still exists, but and the Axis of Resistance militias in Iraq and in Syria, if they will all coordinate one simultaneous attack on Israel from multiple fronts, which they've never done, not really, I think that could be it. Which is not to say that they would like overthrow the Israeli government, but I think it would force so many Israelis to leave that the idea of Zionism is no longer viable. And that has been the strategy of the Iranian government for 30 years now. And Hezbollah too. They've been trying to make life as uncomfortable as possible for Israelis so that they leave. They just leave voluntarily. And many have, and I hope many more do. But and to kick the United States out of the Middle East, which of course we should all endorse that entirely. The mission of the Islamic Republic of Iran and of Hamas and Hezbollah to kick the United States out of the Middle East is the most virtuous project of my lifetime. There's no more important and virtuous political project during my lifetime than that of the mullahs of Iran and of Hezbollah and Hamas, who have been calling primarily for my lifetime to simply remove the United States, its military, its assets, its proxies from where those people live. I don't live there. I've never been there. Those people live there. I don't want my people, my government, my tax money funding this intrusion of these people's lives. That's what they've been for. That's what they've been fighting for. That's what the axis of resistance is all about, has always been about. It's been about expelling the American empire from the Middle East. And who isn't for that? Really? Who is not for the United States leaving the Middle East at this point entirely? This should be a consensus opinion. The vanguard of Americans who believe that, which is 90+% of us, are the mullahs of the Islamic Republic of Iran and the leaders of Hezbollah and Hamas. I'm sorry. That's who it is. You have to endorse them on that project, not on everything, not on Sharia law, not on what their opinions of gays and women are. On that, yeah, we need to expel the United States from the Middle East now, immediately. It has killed millions of people. It has bankrupted us. We are trillions of dollars in debt because of us. It has produced 3,000 dead Americans in the Trade Center towers and the Pentagon, and terrorist attacks all over the world against us, because these people hate us because we have devoted the last 30+ years to fucking up their lives, largely in service of the state of Israel. Let's just stop it all. And we're done. We're good. And then we'll be able to visit Egypt and Syria. There's amazing sites in those places that you can go to. Saudi Arabia, incredible. I want to go to those places. When we end these wars and make peace with the Middle East, Americans will then be able to go as tourists finally after decades to the most wonderful places in the world that are incredibly historically significant and fascinating and beautiful without any problem. There. Simple.
We got to talk. Sorry.
My bad.
We didn't talk about Tulsi and the Russiagate releases. The documents that Tulsi dropped are alleging that Barack Hussein Obama, who we identified at the top of the show as the Antichrist, was also president for a while. People forget. The Intelligence Committee assessment, and he ordered the intelligence community to look into Russiagate, to use the Steele dossier narrative. There's a lot of things in there. There's perhaps Russia, alleging that Russia had blackmail on Hillary Clinton, knowing about her mental and health state, her physical state, needing heavy tranquilizers and having psychotic breaks, that perhaps they were going to use that as blackmail on Hillary, and that they actually preferred Hillary as the president in 2017, and that perhaps Hillary knew that this blackmail existed and used that to manufacture the case against Trump. Trump has been posting on Truth Social generated videos of Obama getting arrested. So it seems like the rubber is hitting the road, that evidence is being presented to prove what we've always known, that Russiagate was entirely manufactured. The word treason is being floated around to describe this. The question is, will we see arrests finally? There is the argument that, so the people who are criticizing the administration right now are saying we need to see arrests, and the people supporting the administration are saying we'll get to arrests. They seem to be taking this very, very seriously. We'll get to arrests. They seem to be taking this seriously. There's a lot to talk about here.
I think it's obvious, isn't it? So it's July 23rd, and Trump's been in office for 6 months. And since January, he's been getting his ass handed to him, not by the media, but by his own base, his own voters, the people who love him, the people who have stood by him. And in the last week or two, it's gotten even worse, as we just said, like Michael Knowles and who else? Are completely abandoning him on Israel and other things. I think the timing was not coincidental. They rolled out this whole new thing to attract our attention to this idea, which is completely correct, which I've been saying since 2017, that the Obama administration orchestrated, initiated, managed, oversaw a campaign of misinformation against Donald J. Trump, alleging repeatedly, falsely, that he was under the employ of the Russian government.
You
and I, this show was going on then, right? Come on.
No, this show started pretty much right around the time Putin invaded Ukraine.
Okay.
And we've been talking about Russiagate ever since, because Russiagate, if you don't have Russiagate, you don't have the war in Ukraine. And if
Right.
Trump, I know the peace talks have been falling apart. The last peace talks for Russia and Ukraine were 34 minutes, and those seem to be falling apart. But a prerequisite, I believe, just like defunding USAID, to getting out of Ukraine has to be telling the truth about what happened with Russiagate. You can't have the official narrative be that Russia stole the election for Trump. And you can't have the official narrative be that Russia is this foreign adversary. You have to acknowledge that the call was coming from inside the House, that this was a lie made up to go against the will of the American people, to cover up for the compromise of Hillary and Obama, and to villainize Putin in the West and Putin in the East. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I was going to say something really deep about this, and I forgot what it was.
You said that this is because the base is angry about him about a lot of things. Perhaps Epstein, that the base wants blood, and he's giving them some blood to chew on. I will say that there have been agitprop, or I don't know. There's been agitation campaigns to fire Bondi, to fire Bongino, to fire Kash Patel, and to fire Tulsi Gabbard over the past few months. And I think you need that whole team on board if you're going to prosecute the Russiagate thing.
Listen. Okay, this is real. Can you put, we're going to go to the after show now, but can you put that link on here? Because I'm going to, on the after show, I'm going to lay out arguments that no one has heard about how the Epstein scandal, the discourse about Epstein is on the left, the right, incorrect, like really incorrect. We really don't have, and I've been studying this pretty extensively for the last couple of weeks, and it's just very clear to me that both the left and the right, everybody talking about this is wrong. That the whole Epstein scandal is just misconstrued in the most ridiculous ways. And in the after show, starting in 2 minutes, I'm going to lay that out. Not here, but in the after show, because I don't want to get in too much trouble. This is going to be private because I don't want it public. But yeah, it's just the way everyone's talking about the Jeffrey Epstein scandal and case is just wrong from the get-go. So we'll do that in the after show. Otherwise, Icarusfest. Can you show that again?
Yeah, well, there's the ticket link, but honestly, just go to ThaddeusRussell.substack.com. It'll get you there quicker. The direct link is in the comments. You can copy and paste that into your browser if you want to go to buy tickets. I think it's a little too long to post on the screen right here.
Yeah, you're right. Everything we've talked about is right here. Go to Substack. Everything's on Substack. Everything right now. So go there. All right. We're going to go to the after show. And again, if you want to join us, go to Substack, become a paid subscriber, super cheap. And we hang out every Wednesday night after Unreported and have an awesome time. And tonight, I'm going to talk about why everyone is wrong about the Epstein case. So it begins right now. Yeah.
Yep. I'm going to play us out with my favorite representative, Representative Hank Johnson.
Oh, no.
Everybody remembers
that is so racist of you.
I think he's a perfectly qualified member of the Senate. I think he represents the people of the great state of Georgia.
It's racist to play Hank Johnson.
Okay. And I think he represents all of the constituents who want to see the Epstein files. I think everybody who's been talking about Epstein for the last week, I think he really is the voice that represents the people who have been making a fuss about the Epstein files for the last week. And I think he puts it more eloquently than any voice can.
Indeed.
So I'm gonna play us out with that. And I'll see you at the after party.
Peace, my brother. Thank
Peace.
Congressman Hank Johnson coming to give you some more ear candy or perhaps an ear ache. But I'm going to do my best off of this Jason Isbell tune, Dreamsicle. Epstein died by suicide. Believe that and you must be blind. You've been telling us you released the file, but where are they? We've gone along with what's been told. We've had plenty of time, you're in control. But now you say you will withhold the Epstein file. Dreamsicle on a summer night in a folding armchair. Trump's howling at the moon. Release the Epstein file soon.